r/AskReddit. Serious, what are some of the biggest mistakes people can make in their 20s? Not brushing your teeth. When my father passed away, I slept away each night without taking care of myself. I've had so many root canals, removals, and pain because of it, and it only hurts what little self-image I have of myself. When your teeth go, you smile less and hate yourself a little more every day. It just takes so much away from you. Please take care of those chompers. Not taking advantage of your greatest asset, time. When I was talking with an older friend who was very well off, millionaire, I jokingly said, "I'll trade you my age for your money." And his reply has always stuck with me. He said, "I can do more with your time than you can do with my money." I didn't take it as an insult, but as motivation to make the most of my time and not waste it. Heavy drinking. You can waste away years of your life like this, thinking you're just partying. A good friend of mine recently came to terms with his alcoholism. Getting blackout drunk every week for nearly a decade is not normal. Get loans, credit cards that they can't fully pay off. Spend more money than you truly have or make. I did all that. Now I'm punished by my own poor mistakes of trying to spend money with people who make way more. I got 2 to 3 more years and am paid off. Not wearing sunscreen. Seriously, people wear sunscreen. Getting sunburned just once can triple your risk of melanoma later in life. I work with a lot of older hippies, construction workers, landscapers, and arborists, and a lot of them have skin cancer, and they all really wish they had worn sunscreen. Listen to Baz Luhrmann and wear sunscreen. If you're concerned about certain chemicals in sunscreen, there's always alternatives. Also look into Korean sunscreens. They have amazing sunscreens that go on smooth just like lotion and don't leave you sticky or contain some of the harsh chemicals in American sunscreens. Make it a part of your daily routine and you'll appreciate it later in life. Buying vehicles they can barely afford. Not realizing that the really nice cars also usually have really high insurance rates. I saw this happen to some friends in my late teens/early 20s. I have a friend that decided to go out and get a used Infiniti G37 coupe because it looked cool. One day he starts asking me how much I pay for insurance on my car. I asked him why he's curious, and it turns out that he's paying almost $300 a month on insurance alone. And his car payment is around $350 for a 5-year loan. He was paying almost $700 a month for a $20,000 car. Don't think that there is plenty of time to save for retirement. If it is possible for you to put something away on a regular basis, do it. The best time to start is when you get a job that offers you more pay than what you were getting. Take a percentage of the increase and start savings that right from the beginning. That helps make it such that you never miss it. Just ducking coast through life waiting for something to happen. Nobody is gonna walk up to you and hand you a meaning to your life or a fulfilling career. Adding to this, just because you don't know what to do with your life doesn't mean you should do nothing. Forgetting about calling and visiting your parents. Seriously, it may sound weird, but when I was in my 20s I was so happy to be out of the house that I made the mistake of disconnecting with my mom and dad. I wish I would have done more. Thinking that you either deserve or don't deserve things that happen to you. Don't be comfortable. Seriously, be uncomfortable. Interview for a job that's out of your league. Ask the girl out that's out of your league. Apply for grad school that's out of your league. When the worst thing that can happen is the same as if you never tried, try. Going to law school and then dropping out in their last semester. Good luck finding a non-law job with law school on your resume. Even more so if you didn't finish when you inevitably default on your student loans because you couldn't find a job. Now you can't qualify for the military or any other government jobs. Oh, and you also can't take out new loans to finish up school. Except now you can't finish school either because you only have around 7 years from when you begin to finish. Source: I'm royally ducked and would be worth more money if I jumped off a bridge tomorrow. Loans have ballooned up to $300,000 and can't be discharged. Getting into a relationship with an SO who has control issues. A lack of respect for personal boundaries is a serious red flag. The risks include depleted savings, ruined credit, damaged a career, frayed ties to family and friends, and ending up with one or more unplanned children. Serious advice: if a charming person is that red flag, but you think you can manage it, don't even try. Not being interesting. Really? It takes time to be interesting. It takes time to grow a personality and an identity that isn't based off the things you like, or worse, the things you hate, or some preconceived labels. People say, go out, live life, have an adventure. And yeah, that's a way to be interesting. But reading books, writing, painting, cultivating a knowledge base either very specific or very broad, those are also ways to be interesting. And what's so important about being interesting? Well, the obvious way is that it's a way to meet people and make them stay. And while you may not need people, it's still nice to have them. But I'd probably say even more important than that is that it gives you a sense of who you are and what you want to do, and thus ways to relate to people. Because you can't be interesting without interests and goals beyond just living to tomorrow and avoiding suffering, because life isn't just about avoiding suffering, or at least, we all should hope it isn't. And when tragedy inevitably comes, or you find yourself suddenly in a strange new place or alone, in the end, you'll find yourself interesting. Too interesting to give up on, too interesting to throw away. So do something unique. Dare to disagree. Explore an inclination. Scratch an itch. Because in this cynical world, it's dangerous to just be a collection of likes and dislikes, easily moved and swayed, because you don't have a place. Because you don't have a place you want to be. So be interesting. Sacrifice learning for earning. Not saying you have to go to college, but you need to learn a marketable skill in a career that has a future. Working as a server/bartender or other similar job for easy money is not a viable long-term move. I see many 40-year-old servers who look 50 and hate life. Full disclosure, I'm still early in my 20s, but I've talked to a lot of older folks about this. I think people usually give one of two answers to this question. Either 1, spending too much time working is a huge mistake. Make sure you have tons of cool experiences before you run out of energy, or 2, spending all your money on transient experiences is a huge mistake. Make sure you save money, because those pictures of you at Burning Man aren't going to pay the bills in 10 years. In my experience, most people who recommend the first are those in a financially secure position who kind of regret not having more fun in their 20s, while those who recommend the second are having more trouble and regret not earning/saving more money. Obviously, what you actually want to do depends on your personality and situation. I think it's important to remember that you don't have to go fully in one direction or another. You can do things with friends or go to festivals and still save some money, as long as you keep an eye on your finances. Even small amounts of money here and there build up, and then you'll have some to tide you over for when you're older and want to spend less time working. Not realizing that all of the adult stuff older people like their parents have didn't just happen. You don't just get a house, or a family, or a car, or a career. You need to put a lot of effort into getting those things. That doesn't mean you need to start working on it as soon as you graduate high school, but it does mean that you need to at least understand that. Because you don't want to wake up one day when you're 35 still working the same dead-end job you had when you were 25 and living in the same tiny apartment in the cool part of town and wonder where all of your friends are. They left you behind because they realized that homes, families and careers don't just happen. This may sound really stupid and poetic, but a big mistake one could make is not making enough mistakes. Your 20s are supposed to be a time of trial and error. I hope you take this with common sense. This does not mean to make the mistake of doing black tar heroin or sticking your fingers up an unwilling girl's skirt. Just do not encase yourself in this insecure bubble that will lead to deep regret later in life. Not traveling. Many people can travel later, but you won't find yourself sleeping on a mat around a fire, bounded by circling coyotes in the middle of the Jordanian desert, hours away from the nearest road signs that said 90 kilometers to Syria, Saudi Arabia, and or Iraq with 5 people you don't know and don't speak their language. Times like that only happen in your 20s because you are dumb enough to do it. It is amazing to look back on. I will completely encourage you to do it, but I would never do it again. Don't buy into the everything is rigged mentality. It's hard, sure. I won't argue it's tough to get ahead, or that some people just seem to be impossibly lucky. That stings, trust me. It sucks sometimes, and of course people will talk about the boomers and so on, but I think we're, people in our 20s, actually better off in a lot of ways. There's information everywhere, accessible at your fingers. Tech is not only pretty reliable, it's cheap, and if you want to learn something, all you need to do is go Google it. So don't wallow in self-pity, don't give up. Chew gum and kick ass, you can. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.